Welcome, and today what we're going to be making is a Gujarati style kadhi. And kadhi is essentially, to interpret it, would be a yogurt soup. And you can drink it on its own, you can add it to rice that's been freshly made or stale rice, doesn't really matter, you can add it to rice. And when you have leftover kadhi, you could also add pakoras or bhajiyas into the kadhi. And that becomes more sort of Punjabi style. The Gujarati style kadhi is a little thinner than the Punjabi style, and some people like to add sugar to it. I prefer not to add sugar to sort of savory dishes, but sugar is optional as well. So to get started though, before we even put the soup onto heat and to boil, I've got 2 tablespoons of besan or chickpea flour. To that, what I'm going to do is add a bit of water, not a lot because you don't want it to get lumpy, but essentially this will act as a bit of a thickener to the actual soup mix. So think about it as, you know, potentially you would add cornstarch or flour. In this case, I'm just adding the chickpea flour. So it's stuck in there. Let's smooth that out. And just enough paste. It doesn't matter if you put too much water because this recipe calls for 4 cups of water anyway. So just take some of that 4 cups of water, or up to 4 cups of water, and that's it. So it's just very crepe batter like. And thin, and you just want it thin and lump free so that you can add it to a yogurt mixture. And I'm doing sort of a 2-step process here, whereby I'm going to mix everything first in this saucepan, because I think it's just easier when you take some of the ingredients, put it in here, mix it thoroughly, and then you just do what we call a tadka or a fry in here. So I like, once again, either skyr yogurt or Greek yogurt. It's thicker. I always use 0% fat, but you can use whatever you wish and whatever is available to you. And once again, obviously, the more fat, the creamier the yogurt. And so you see that. So we're going to add some, I don't mind using Greek yogurt for this particular case because I am going to sort of add water to this, or a fair bit of water to it. So let's just scrape that out. And it's interesting because I find curry also to be kadhi also to be a bit of a comfort food. You can even have a leftover pita and dip it in there almost like a crackers in a soup, and eat it like that. But it has a great sort of a tangy, spicy taste to it. Well, when you don't add sugar, certainly that's the case. Okay, and then so to this, I'm going to add the chickpea flour paste or mixture. And then what I'm going to do is start to just mix that in with a whisk, and so that the yogurt now is getting a bit thinner, becomes a bit creamier as such, almost like whipped cream at this point. So I'm going to add a bit of water to that. And I like to add the water a little at a time. You don't have to plonk the whole thing in and have it sort of splash all over the place. And I sometimes do that just to mix things the old-fashioned way, I guess. I've seen my mum do this with a wooden whisk, I guess, or a stir. I don't even know what you would call that wooden utensil. Anyway, so let's just add a bit of that. And I add the water a little at a time because, you also don't, while it is a thinner kadhi, you don't want it to be too thin. So I'm going to add a bit more. So we're up to almost 3 cups. And I'm going to stop there actually because it's quite sort of like a chai texture right now. Okay, now to this we're going to add sort of our dry spices. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. You can always add more later. I don't like my curry to be too yellow, so I just add a pinch or a quarter teaspoon of turmeric, because I like the flavor to naturally come from the cumin seeds that we'll use as part of that fry. So that's mixed in. The other thing I will add in here, though, is the teaspoon, a heaping teaspoon of green chili. Now, you can keep your chilies a larger size. I have these minced up and I keep them in the freezer, so that was easy enough for me to sort of get to. And then I also like to add, I picked some mint leaves, so I'm just going to break some mint leaves in here. And of course I love cilantro, so we've got 2 tablespoons of cilantro to throw in here as well. Okay, just give that a bit of a mix. And that's it in terms of getting the mixture ready for the frying element of it. So let's move that out of the way. Move this spice box out of the way. And let's grab our second aromatic spice box, which we will use for the frying element. So I've got this on a fairly high heat. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add about 3 tablespoons of oil, 1, 2, 3-ish. And to that, I'm also going to add 1 tablespoon of ghee. That will come out quite good. Whoops, there you go. Just put that aside. Just let that sort of melt down. And that'll take a minute or so. And to this mixture, we're going to add a few spices. We're going to add a teaspoon of cumin. We're going to add, actually, there's probably more than a teaspoon in there, but, watch it all pop up. It's the water from this that I used earlier. So, of course, I've got my curry leaves, as per usual. Then I'm going to take, cumin seeds. I love cumin seeds, so I'm going to add a heaping teaspoon. I'm going to add a couple of cardamoms to that. Let's just put that back on. And we're going to take a couple of cloves, not too many cloves, about 3. And we're going to take 2 1-inch pieces or sticks, 1-inch pieces of cinnamon sticks. Let's just dig around for that. Just need a few, because while you're drinking it, you don't want it to sort of get in the way. Okay, so that's done. And that's sizzling away really nicely. And then to that, we are going to add our tablespoon of ginger. You just have to watch yourself that you don't get sort of splashed with the oil mixture. And now to that, we're going to add the cold yogurt mixture very carefully. Okay, and all we do now is we bring this to a boil. Now, do not step away from this actually heating up. And the reason I say that is that the yogurt will separate if it gets over boiled without you sort of being mindful of it. So I'm going to be back in a minute when it's just about to boil. Okay, and we're back. So I've been stirring this for about a minute or so, just gently stirring it. And I see the little bubbles on the side come through. And as soon as that starts to happen, what you want to do is just turn off the pan. And we're going to do that in about 30 seconds, which is right about now. Actually, what I think I might do is grab a bowl and have a quick taste of that. And see what that's like. So you see, that's the beautiful consistency of it. It's great. Okay, we can cut the film now.